welcome to this week's installment of Community Classroom Yoga. This is Cam and Nicole, as usual, and we will today doing a little bit of some side body lengthening and a bit more some back bending. We did a bit more postural back bending before, and now we'll start to step it up a little bit if you so desire to be a little bit more engaging. To start, let's just stand with our eyes closed and just take a few moments. As you stand with your eyes closed here, just let the weight of the legs sink down and feel as though the breath wants to start to lift up. You can feel as though the breath even wants to start to come up into where the creases of the armpits are here. So the feeling that every inhale and exhale, it's like the shoulders want to kind of lift a little and drop a little as the breath rises and falls. Good. And so the eyes can stay soft if you want, but let's take your thumbs and hook your thumbs into your armpit creases like you got a pair of suspenders. You can just exaggerate that. Inhale, push your thumbs up, shrug your shoulders up a little. Exhale, let them sink down. Just 2 or 3 times. Good. So one more like that. Inhale, lift up, draw the armpits up. Exhale as you release the hands. Good. And a few times. Inhale, you can sweep the arms up. Exhale to lower. The feeling as the arms come up and down, there's that same little lift right up at the armpits. Then they want to release. As you get a little bit of that lift in the armpit as the breath rises, physically the torso is going to get longer. There's going to be more space for the breath, more space for the ribs, more space for the spine as it opens back. Good. One more breath. And the next time that your arms sweep up and overhead as you inhale, reach your hands behind your back. Your right hand can grab your left arm. Good. Just draw the shoulders back, left ear to shoulder. Just a little side stretch. So keep a little bit of that lift up in the armpits. And just take a moment or so here. Breathe a little bit more up into the top of the neck there. So it feels as though you get a bit more space. Good. As you exhale, release the arms, sweep them up and overhead. Big inhale. With exhale, you can sweep and cross the other side. Left can reach back for the right. Draw the right ear to shoulder. A little bit of a lift in the shoulders and drawn back. The breath can rise up into the collarbones, the armpits, the upper spine. Good. Take a moment. And the next time you exhale again, release the arms. Inhale, up and overhead, 2 or 3 times. Every inhale, get longer up the sides of the waist. Pick the ribs up, pick the spine up. Good. One more breath. The next time the arms come up, turn your palms forward and then bend your elbows down so the elbows are out to the side. Good, so just take a moment. Draw the elbows back, draw the arms back, draw the head back. Lift your chest up to the ceiling. Take your gaze up to the ceiling. Good. As you find that lift, stretch down through the legs a bit so that you're feeling like you're tractioning a little bit. And for the next breath or so, even in the hands, pull your elbows just a little bit down like you were doing a chin up and just draw the chest up a little taller. Good. As you inhale, come back up, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow forward, little bend in the knees, fingertips towards the toes. Good, and again, you can bend the knees a bit generously here if it helps to let the head and chest hang heavy. Give it a little shake, take a moment. Good. Full breath. And the next time you inhale, arms can sweep up and overhead. Come all the way up to standing. Draw up your left arm, reach the right arm over, side bend. Good, one side then the other. Get super long through the whole side body. Come through center, long through both. And then exhale, switch. Get super long through the other side of the body. Good, just a moment or so to each side. Good. When you're even both sides, let's bow forwards to a full forward fold. Good. Again, soft bend in the knees, hang heavy for a moment. And then bend your knees enough you can bring the fingertips to the ground, and let's wiggle or step our left foot back to find about a lunge distance. Good. You start to lift the hips up and down. Inhale, they can lift a little. Exhale, they'll sink. As they come up and down, work to make your back knee straight. The more you bend into your front knee, the more the back knee is going to want to bend as well. So keep pressing your back thigh up away from the earth as you sink your front thigh into it. Good. One more breath. The next time that you exhale, come all the way down to your back knee. Keep the left fingertips where they are. Reach the right arm up into the air. Just look up for the right hand. Good. Keep stretching the knee forwards. Press down into the ground. Actively stretch up to those fingertips. A little taller. As you inhale, untwist. Both hands to the ground. Lift off your back knee. Wiggle or step it forwards. Both feet together, standing forward fold. Take a moment. And then switch legs. Yeah, right foot back. If you find your front knee is way over the toes, you just wiggle your back foot back a bit more. And then up and down in the hips. As the hips lift, this feeling, the back thigh wants to keep lifting, especially as you exhale. As you exhale, the back thigh is going to want to get pulled down. Keep pressing it up. Start to actively open the groins a bit more. Good. One more breath, just like the other side. Come on to that back knee. As the back knee finds itself to the ground, reach the left arm into the air. Good. If the chin feels like it's left forward, create that same action of wanting to draw the head back and wanting to push your chest forward like you just did in standing. We'll come back to this position a bit, or that little arch. Good. Full breath. And then again, untwist. Let's lift off your back knee, step your back foot forward, standing forward fold. I'm going to take a moment here. And then as you inhale, you can sweep the arms up and overhead. Good. Hands to the back of the head. Lift up nice and tall, and then side bend to the right. As you side bend, there's this feeling of as much lift in the back of the ribs as you might want to just in the chest, even though you're still creating that little arch. Good. Full breath. As you inhale, come through center. Stretch the arms up into the air as you exhale. And then bring your hands down to your side as you bow forwards. Good. You're going to get to a place where the arms and the head want to drop, so look forwards. Bend your knees a bit, reach the hips back. Create a little bit more of that same back bend here. A little bit of a skydiver type position. And then as you inhale, sweep back up, come up to standing, hands to the back of the head. Lift up nice and tall, and then side bend the other way. Yeah, a few breaths here. Draw the head back, but as much lift in the back of the ribs. Good. Take a moment. And then as you inhale again, come up. Hands can come to the side as you find that same skydiver type bowing. The tendency is we want to lift at the hands. Try to draw back more from the shoulders. This feeling as the shoulders draw back, the chest can reach forwards. Good. Full breath. And then exhale. Bow all the way down to the ground. Let the spine round if it feels good. And hang heavy a moment. Good. Full breath. And then let's take a big step back with our left foot again. Find a lunge. Same as the first side. Pulse up and down once or twice. Good. And then come on to your back knee as you exhale. Good. Take that moment, sink low into the hips, and then bring your hands to the hips. Good. Lift up through the chest. So like when the hands are here, if it helps, you could even bring your hands to the side if that's a helpful way to do it. Lift up in the chest and start to draw the head back. Hands can stay on the hips to the side, or you could just release them down towards the ground. So So there's a bit more like that skydiver. Draw back at the shoulder, draw back at the head. Good. One more breath here. Let's give it a little break. As you inhale, come forwards. Fingertips to the ground. Lift off your back knee. The front leg can start to straighten a little bit or a lot. Just bow and fold over a front leg. Let the head bow down, hang heavy a moment. It may or may not stretch straight. It'll get there eventually. Good, full breath. And then bend into your front knee. Step forwards to a standing forward fold. Good, soft knees, hang heavy. And then switch the legs. Let's step the other foot back now. Good, as the right foot steps back, find a good distance. Same thing, up and down once or twice. It'll help to set the action in the legs and a good distance for the feet. Exhale, come on to your back knee. Hands can come to the hips, out to the side, or just stay at the side. Either way, engage the inner thighs. Lift up in your belly, lift up in your chest. Get long in the whole sides of the body, and then curl back. As we curl back, like in the side bending, one side opens, in this case our front body, but the back body wants to close. So lift the belly, get longer, more stretch and length in that side. Good. Inhale, bring the hands to the ground. Lift off your back knee. Your front leg will straighten to some degree. Just bow forwards a few moments. Good. One more breath. As you inhale this time, bend into your front knee. Come to a push-up on your toes or knees. And then come down to your belly. Good. Fingertips can come off the side. It's the same thing. So find that same shoulder roll. Inhale, lift up into a back bend. Exhale, you can lower down. Just like when you were standing, as the head draws back, we lifted the chest up. In this case, lifting the chest up will be more forwards off your mat. Good. One more time. As you come up this time, stay lifted. And then just draw the fingertips off the ground by drawing back more so right from the upper back, more right from the shoulders. Good. Exhale, release. Let's press back to child's pose. Come through all fours. Knees can widen a little bit. Let the hips sink back. And from all sort of the active muscles along the spine and the shoulders, let them relax for a moment. The whole weight of the body expanding and softening a bit. You can even feel like the ribs want to widen out as much as the thighs a little. Good. One more breath. As you inhale, you can sit up towards the heels, just as a means of transitioning over to your right side. Sweep your right foot a little bit forwards in front of you. So you're sitting to the inner edge of your left foot. If your hip or knee bugs you, stay way leaned over. It'll support it. If it feels more open, you can start to go to bring that left hip back to the ground. Good. If both hips feel even, you can lean the hands back a little bit. Just a few deep breaths here. If you lean back, the tendency might be for this left hip to want to pop up. This is what we want first. Just bring the pelvis to neutral and open the front of the thigh. If it starts to open, we can lean back a little deeper, but it's not necessary. Especially if there's any knee or ankle problems. We don't want to exacerbate them. We're just going to create the space for them to open, but there's no rush to that. Good. One more breath. As you inhale, sit back up tall if you lean forward. Lean over to the right, roll forward back to all fours. As you find all fours, lift the left leg up into the air behind you. Good. As you lift, the hips might want to unsquare, so keep the pelvis square. Stay here. Or if it feels good, you can start to play with balancing and reaching the right arm out in front of you. If that feels good and you want to play a bit more, the right hand could reach back to grab the left ankle. Sort of anywhere in this. Good. Take a moment. As you sit here, a little bit of lift in the belly, get longer in the low back. Good. Release wherever you're at, settle back to child's pose. Take a moment or two. Knees a little wide, there's space for the groins and the hips to sink back. Let the back of the hips be nice and heavy. The ribs, up from the armpits, let them sink and lengthen out of the spine, out of the hips. Good. Inhale. Come up through all fours or seated on the knees as a means to lean to the left. Sweep your left foot forward and sit back to the inner right foot. Again, so if you find the hip has popped up, sit the right hip down. If you feel the hips have come back to neutral, you can start to lean the hands back. It's going to be quite a bit for the knees, ankles, and quads when you might start, so there's no rush to this. A few moments to really settle into that hip crease, especially if we start to do back bending and you notice a lot of pain in the low back. This will start to help with that. Good. One more breath here. And just like we did on the other side, come back forwards through all fours. Stretch the right leg out behind you. Good. As the leg stretches out, don't let the hips get unsquare. Keep them neutral. If this feels good, you can take the opposite arm out in front of you. Find balance first. If this feels good and you want to start to play with it, you can reach back for the foot, or you can stay where you are. Either way, extend the chest forward. Lift the belly, reach the hips back. Even look up a bit more too if you want. Yeah. One more breath. And as you're ready to, again, let's release. Find your hands and feet about a push-up distance this time, though, and lift the hips to a downwards facing dog. You can press down through one leg, then the other. Take a few breaths. Good. Then let's walk the feet up to the hands again. Little bend in the knees. Good. Bow heavy for a moment. And then sweep the arms up and overhead. Big inhale. Good. Release the hands to your side as you exhale. And you can shift all of your weight into your right leg. And let's start to work to draw the left knee up to the hands. Just balance on one foot. If that's the case, like when your hands to the side, just start to turn the chest up as you draw the knee up. The standing knee, though, might want to bend forward like in the lunge. So extend down through the leg. Good. As you exhale, release the lifted leg. Open your hands to the side, like those little skydiver arms. Inhale. Get long in the side body. Start to draw the head and chest back. As you draw the head back, though, keep that upward lift in the torso, that downward rooting in the hips. As you start to draw the head back more, if it doesn't feel quite as good, let the hips move a little bit farther forward. It'll just give some space to lengthen the back of the neck. Good. As you inhale, rise back up, whatever that is. Release. Sink your weight to your left leg. Draw the right knee up to the hands. Good, so same thing. Just work to find your balance, especially if this standing knee wants to start to bend. It doesn't need to be locked out, but it tends to want to bend because it gets pulled up in the tightness on the fronts of the thighs as we draw the other leg. So you can extend it into the ground a bit more. It'll give you a bit of more stability in the long run. Good. Exhale, release the lifted leg. Same like we did. Lift up, curl back, start to draw back. As much as you want to move the head back, you really need to lift up through the chest. This feeling, this is being drawn straight up. The hips can draw straight down. You might need to shift again the weight in your pelvis a bit forward, not because you're jamming your hips forward, but just to offset the back bend. Good. Inhale, come back up to standing. Just stand tall a moment, close the eyes. Even littlest back bends, they start to create a bit of a rush and a vibrance in the body. Enjoy it a moment. Good. Let the eyes open. Shift your weight back into your left leg. So you can start to bend the right toes, and we'll just look to grab the foot behind us. Good. If that feels good, find balance. You can hold the outer edge maybe, or you could come to hold the inner edge. Either way, let's take the left arm out. So draw the left shoulder back. Draw the left hip back as you inhale. Turn your chest up, and then just bow forwards a little bit. So think not so much about coming way down, just a little bit of a bowing to move the hip back, and then lift up through the chest, lift up through the back leg. A few breaths. Because it's a little bit trickier balancing, work to help to keep the square pelvis. So we're doing it this way. Tend to get into back bending, but if we don't have that stability, it hurts. So let's get stable first. Good. Inhale, rise up, release the leg, stand tall a moment. Hand can come down, eyes can be soft or closed. Take a breath. And as you're ready to, switch the sides. Hold the foot first. Inner thighs can be a bit closer together, and if that feels good, let's take the right arm up. So you can draw the right shoulder back at the armpit. You can draw the right hip back at the groin. That'll be what bows you forward and keeps you a bit square. Otherwise, we tend to turn open to the left. And then start to lift a little bit in the spine, a little bit in the leg. Let the balancing help to remind us to keep the pelvis a bit more neutral, to keep the spine a bit more neutral, and a little bit more active so we don't hurt ourselves. Good. Full breath. As you're ready, come back up. Release. Bow or stand forward a moment. Good. Full breath. And then inhale. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bow forwards to a full forward fold. Good. Take a moment. Soft knees, hang heavy, a breath. And then step back to the top of a push-up on your toes or knees and come down to your bellies again. Good. So as you find yourself there, bring your fingertips off the side. This is where we'll kind of get to. Curl back. So even though you're coming back, feel like you want to pull your fingers a little bit towards your feet, like that chin up. That's going to help you to move your chest forward. Good. Into that. Squeeze the legs together. Stretch them long. If the chin wants to lift up, if I show Nicole here, we tend to want to just pop the chin up. Let the chin stay in and draw back more so there's more lift up the back of the neck. Good. Stay here, or if you're feeling this is pretty nice, you could bend one knee, big toe to the hip, the other knee, big toe to the hip. If you do once or twice and it feels good, maybe try with both legs. Like you're eventually going to touch your feet to your head. Good. Let's do one more to each side if you're moving. And then try both. If you're not moving, just stay where you are and stretch long. Good. And when you feel you've had enough, we'll come back to a downwards facing dog. Good. As you find down dog, nice high lift in the groins. Press back through the thighs, a good stretch out through the legs. You might even drop the heels a bit side to side so you get a little bit more of that side bending if it feels good. Good. One more breath or so here. And then drop down to the knees. And one more time, sink into child's pose. Last little bit to open the hips and groins up. Take a moment or two to pause. Big breath. Back bending is going to make the breath want to be deeper. Let it. It's going to help to support, again, that lift, that length, and that space so it doesn't feel jammed. Good. And as you're ready, let's transition out of child's pose and come onto our backs. Good. As you find your back, just lie flat for a few moments. We actively did a fair bit to draw the head back and draw the shoulders back. Surrender yourself to gravity here. That's the natural bit of opening. Good. Take a moment. And as you feel ready to, let's draw and squeeze the right knee into the chest. Good. Hug it in, and then right hand out to the side. Big inhale. Take it out at shoulder height and roll onto your left as you exhale. You might need to scoot the hips back to the middle of your mat or slide your shoulder over to the edge, just so it feels like you're not rounded or way over arched, but nice up the middle. Actively, the top hip can reach away. As you move the top hip away, breathe and open and lengthen. Close your eyes here. And even for the next moment, feel like you can breathe and the whole body wants to lift and drop as the breath rises and falls. And into that space, you can just sink and settle to the force of gravity, especially in that shoulder. Let it open back. Good. Let's take one more breath here. When you come on to your back, keep your right knee into your chest as you inhale. Hands to the back of your right thigh. Stretch your right heel straight as up into the air as it'll go. Stay just like this, or as you exhale, round up through the spine, forehead to shin. You could use your hands, or you can even let your hands go for a breath and let it be all about your abs. Good. Take a moment, and then release the torso, release the leg, adjust and find neutral. Good. Pause, bigger breath. Let the back bending. All the practice really encourage the breath to get deeper, more space in the body. Good. Full breath, and then draw the other leg in. Let's switch sides. Yeah. Left arm to the side. You can roll to your right. You might need to slide the hips to the center of the mat or the shoulder over to the left to line the body up. Either way, get that feeling, the breath, it wants to expand out. Let it lift and drop you. Imagine the inhale, even though it's coming hips to head in the body, it's still an upward lift to the ceiling, sort of no matter where we would find our positioning. You can allow it to create that movement and that expansion to twist in the body. Good. Let's take one more breath or two here. And just like you did on the other side, come on to your back. Same thing. Keep the knee into the chest. Extend the heel up to the ceiling. Actively reach up through the foot and then round up through the spine, forehead to knee or shin. Use the hands or let them go for a breath. Firm up the belly. It'll help to support the back. And then release the torso, release the leg. Good. Take a moment or so, adjust the body to feel as though you're in your best sense of neutral. All the parts of you flattened and even to the ground. Yeah. And feel free to stay here as long or as little as you like. This ends our time together for community classroom yoga today. So enjoy. Namaste.